The Delta Force Armory was a cathedral of steel and silence, a place where every sound meant something. The faint hum of fluorescent lights mixed with the smell of oil and gunmetal, the kind of air that only soldiers knew, the air of readiness. Every man there carried scars that didn't show, and every weapon had a story it would never tell. But that morning, something was different. A new sound echoed through the rows of weapon racks. Not the quick, confident clicks of operators at work, but the slow, deliberate rhythm of an old bolt sliding into place. It wasn't just noise, it was muscle memory. Heads turned. At the far end of the room, sitting on a worn wooden stool, was an old man in a faded maintenance uniform. His boots were scuffed, his sleeves rolled up, his hands veined but steady. Too steady for someone just doing janitorial work. His name tag simply read, Harris. Most soldiers thought he was just the armory's caretaker, a quiet veteran who kept things tidy and left before anyone noticed him. He never talked about his past. Never joined their conversations about missions, guns, or glory. But then, a young Delta sniper named Cooper walked by and froze. The rifle the old man was cleaning wasn't standard issue. It was older, customized, almost sacred. Its metal had been worn smooth by years of use, and along its barrel was something engraved. 4 simple words that made Cooper's blood run cold. To my brothers, Mogadishu. The air in the room went still. Cooper's heart pounded as he whispered, "Sir, that rifle, it belonged to them." The old man looked up, his gray eyes sharp as steel. When he finally spoke, his voice carried the weight of men long gone. "No, son," he said softly. "It still belongs to us." No one moved. Even the tools stopped clinking. The Delta operators, men trained to stay calm in firefights, stood frozen. Sergeant Cooper took a cautious step forward, eyes fixed on the rifle. "You were there? Mogadishu?" The old man gave a faint smirk, not of pride, but memory. "They told you it was a rescue mission, right?" "Truth is, it was a graveyard. But we did what had to be done." Lieutenant Grayson, the unit leader, folded his arms. "With respect, sir, that can't be true." "The last of that Delta team died in '93. I've read the file." The old man's eyes locked on him, and for a moment the air seemed heavier. "Dead men don't keep cleaning their rifles," he said simply. He handed the weapon toward Grayson. "Go on. Check the engraving under the rail." Grayson frowned, but turned the rifle over carefully. On the underside, hidden beneath the scope mount, was another engraving. Smaller, deeper, older. His stomach dropped when he read it. "Property of Captain R. Grayson." The room erupted in whispers. The young lieutenant froze, color draining from his face. "That's my father's name," he whispered. The old man nodded slowly. "He was my CO," he said quietly. "The best one I ever had." Grayson's throat tightened. "You knew him?" "Knew him?" Harris chuckled, but there was no humor in it, only pain. "Kid, I carried him out of hell." The room went dead quiet. Harris set the rifle gently on the table, like he was laying an old friend to rest. His voice was rough, trembling with age and memory. "Your father took a round through the leg. We were cut off, pinned down. Told me to fall back. Said someone had to stay behind and cover the evac. I told him I wasn't leaving. He said, 'That's an order, Sergeant.'" He paused, staring past the walls as if he could still see the smoke and fire of that night. "When the dust settled, I went back for him. But all I found was his rifle." Grayson blinked hard, eyes burning. "All these years, you've been keeping it?" "Every October 3rd, Harris said softly. "Same day, same rifle. I come here, clean it, and remember. Nobody ever asked who I was. Nobody cared to," Cooper whispered under his breath. 30 years. Harris looked up at him. "Feels like yesterday." The mood in the armory had changed completely. The joking, the chatter, gone. What filled the space now was respect. Quiet, heavy respect. Cooper finally broke the silence. "Sir, if you don't mind me asking, why keep coming back here? After all that?" The old man smiled faintly, a tired kind of smile. Because your father and those men deserve more than a line in a history book. Someone has to remember them. Someone who was there. He looked at the rifle again, running his thumb along the engraving. This isn't just metal. It's a promise. A reminder that we don't get to forget. Grayson stepped closer, his voice trembling. What promise? Harris met his eyes. That I'd carry his memory until I couldn't carry it anymore. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Harris set the rifle gently on the table. But I think it's time this weapon went home, he said. Grayson blinked, stunned. You mean? The old man nodded. It's yours now, son. He'd want that. Grayson picked up the rifle like it was holy. His fingers traced the familiar engraving, the same one his father had once carved with a knife under dim desert light. For years, he'd been told his father's weapon was destroyed in the crash, that nothing survived that night. Yet here it was, whole, polished, alive with memory. Sir, he said softly, you don't have to keep carrying this alone anymore. Harris smiled faintly. Kid, when you've seen the kind of things I have, you don't ever put it down. You just learn how to carry it better. The old veteran took a breath, looking around at the young operators, men who reminded him of ghosts he once knew. Listen to me, all of you, he said. Technology changes. Tactics change. But courage, real courage, it looks the same in every generation. It's standing your ground when you're outnumbered, outgunned, and out of time. The men nodded quietly. Some clenched their fists. Others blinked away tears they hoped no one noticed. Cooper finally asked, Sir, what was your rank back then? Harris chuckled softly. Doesn't matter anymore. These days, I'm just the janitor. Grayson shook his head. Not to us, sir. Not anymore. The old man smiled again, small and sincere. Then that's enough for me. A week later, the armory was silent again. Harris's stool sat empty. His tools were gone. On the bench where he'd worked stood the rifle, gleaming behind a glass case. A brass plate was fixed beneath it. Captain Richard Grayson, Delta Force 1993, and below it, maintained by Sergeant Henry Harris, 1989 to 2024. Every operator who passed the display stopped, some to salute, some to whisper a quiet thank you. Grayson, now the unit commander, came in every morning before training. He'd touch the glass lightly and whisper the same 3 words his father had once engraved. For the fallen. The old man never returned to the base. Some said he went home. Others believed he was finally laid to rest beside the men he once fought with. But late at night, when the wind rattled the armory doors, the soldiers swore they could hear it. The soft, rhythmic sound of a rifle bolt sliding into place. A ghost? Maybe, or maybe just a promise being kept. Because heroes fade. But legends, they stay.